fade away. 50 years after Clear Lake, Buddy Holly lives. Sometimes in late January or early February, a darkness wells up within me, shading my thoughts and weighting my steps. Especially if an Arctic front has swooped down over Wisconsin, plunging the temperature below zero toward that blue-black cold that recalls the last and future age of glaciers. It feels as though the days will never lengthen and thaw, that winter's lease has permanently extended over this part of the world. The frozen rivers and bare Gothic trees, the inscrutable blank of snowy fields. The salt-rimed roads and snow-packed side streets all figure in a waking dream, as real in my troubled imagination as out there in the northern wind under an overcast sky already fading into night at 5 o'clock. I watch my step walking home from work, avoiding treacherous patches of black ice on the sidewalk. At the corner of Pine Street and 23rd, I turn south, wishing myself 5,000 miles away in the direction I'm heading. A warm house awaits me, a kind-hearted woman, and a bowl of hot soup. Life is good. Apart from the weather, why should I complain, let alone despair? Really, I tell myself, what is it? And then I remember. It happened at this time of year with this same weather. Around 1 o'clock in the morning on February 3rd, 1959, a small chartered plane fell from the sky near Clear Lake, Iowa, smashing into a cornfield shortly after takeoff. Grainy photographs of the aftermath flash into my consciousness in black and white. The cockpit crumpled around the silent steel engine, the reporters, police, and aviation authorities milling about, and 3 broken bodies strewn across the snowy field. The dead pilot remains out of sight, trapped inside the wreckage. Oh, God, I say, to no one, alone on the street except for a man shoveling out his car and a crow passing overhead. Having once made the mistake of reading a detailed account of the accident, I struggled to dispel the images from my mind's eye. He died. They all died. I'll feel this way for at least a week. I am in the throes of an inconsolable Buddy Holly funk. It may seem strange to mourn a man I never met, a singer who died more than 5 years before I was born, who lived only half as long as I have to date. But then I'm a pop music obsessive. I've read James Brown's autobiography 3 times. Thousands of songs on MP3, CD, cassette, and vinyl crowd my shelves, especially vinyl, since I'm old school, lo-fi, only grudgingly digital. Then there are my guitars, keyboards, and odd items of percussion. Listening to all this music makes me want to pick up and play. No shortage of noisemakers in my house. So why is Buddy Holly special? When I have bossa nova, obscure British psychedelia, Atlantic stacks, and Motown waiting to be placed on the table, the turntable. Of all the stars in the first generation of rock and roll, Buddy seemed the most accessible. No kid in the 50s could dream of being Elvis, impossibly cool and handsome with his curling lips and swiveling hips. Jerry Lee Lewis figured as a force of nature, pounding the piano not only with his fingers, but with his fists and feet. Chuck Berry was a poet, a duck-walking hillbilly from Missouri, hillbilly cat from Missouri, and the true father of rock and roll. Little Richard, well, he was Little Richard. Now, Buddy, you can imagine Buddy as a kid in your neighborhood, as a guy in English class, junior year. You wouldn't mind Buddy dating your sister, or so you might imagine. And his music. Buddy wrote beautiful songs, tender ballads and exultant rockers, all delivered in a distinctive voice with that patented pickup, just at the right moment. If you're a novice guitar player, some of Buddy's simpler songs offer a perfect introduction to the instrument. 3 chords and you're on your way.